The Hind and the Panther, a poem in 3 parts. John Dryden. Hello and welcome to the Discourse. The Hind and the Panther was the second religious poem that John Dryden wrote. It was published in 1687, 3 years after his first religious poem titled Religio Laici. The poem contains some 2600 lines set in heroic couplets. The subtitle of the poem is A Poem in 3 Parts, which suggests that the poem has been written in 3 parts. In Religio Laici, Dryden defended the Anglican Church and criticized the Catholic ways. However, he changed and converted to Catholicism within 3 years, and in this poem, he actually defends Catholicism and suggests why he decided to convert. Because of this, it is considered the most controversial poem of the Restoration era. He converted to Catholicism just after the accession of the Roman Catholic king James II in 1685. While most of the Protestant writers and thinkers of that time believed that John Dryden converted to Catholicism because of its political gains, Dryden wrote this poem which provides certain evidence that suggests that Dryden's conversion was genuine. In this poem, Dryden calls for the alignment of Anglicans and Catholics against Nonconformists. However, King James II directly appealed to the Nonconformists as allies against the Church of England. Furthermore, unlike Religio Laici, in which Dryden criticized Catholic ways, he doesn't criticize the Church of England in The Hind and the Panther. Summary. As the poem's subtitle suggests, this poem is divided into 3 parts. Each part tells a distinct topic and point of view. It is an allegory. In this poem, in the first part, the poet discusses and describes the various religious denominations in England. In this part, he depicts Catholicism as a hind or a female deer, representing purity, innocence, and piety. He further describes the Anglican Church of England as a strong panther. The poet also talks about other religious groups, including Independents, Freethinkers, Presbyterians, Quakers, Socinians, and Anabaptists. According to the poet, the Independents are like a bear. He depicts Presbyterians as a wolf, Quakers as a hare, Socinians as a fox. The poet says that the Anabaptists are like boars, while Freethinkers and atheists are like an ape. After describing all these religious denominations, the poet touches on the main topic of the poem and suggests why he chose to convert from Protestantism to Catholicism, arguing that the hind is purer than the panther. The first part ends when the hind and the panther meet. In the second part, the hind and panther take a stroll while discussing various topics that appear to be controversial. The dialogue between the hind and the panther as they stroll together deals with controversial topics of church authority and transubstantiation. In the third part, the poet offers his political viewpoint on what should be done for the benefit of England as a nation. According to the poet, the Crown and the Anglican and Catholic churches should form a united front against the Nonconformists and the Whigs. Critical analysis. While this is a religious poem, it offers a logical amalgamation of religion and politics. The poet cleverly offers his position and choices in a way to avoid unnecessary arguments between the Catholics and the Protestants. The poet is against the religious zealots of any corps and calls for the reconciliation of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church and advocates the union of Anglicans, Loyalists, and Catholics against the Nonconformists and the Whigs, who according to him are religious zealots and fanatics. The poem was an attempt at reconciliation and peace. Dryden describes distinct religious denominations as animals, suggesting that people form groups because of their animal instincts. They desire separation and distinction as a demonstration of superiority or even survival. He offers relationships and comparisons between these groups as predator and prey, social and solitary, intelligent and knave. In the end, the poet sheds light on the necessity of unity of Catholic and Anglican churches against nonconformists. He mentions the then trend of using political threats to convert people by describing the Anglican Church as the fearsome panther. He despises this practice and calls for more unity, with Jesus Christ as the ultimate authority over the church, rather than a given human leader. Throughout the text, Dryden warns against the corruption of religion for political aims. He calls upon the various sects to unite to firmly oppose the radicalism of the Nonconformists. Canadian feminist literary critic Margaret Doody appreciated this poem by Dryden and commented, the undeniable sui generis poem of the Restoration era. It is its own kind of poem. It cannot be repeated, and no one has repeated it. However, the poem continued to gain negative criticism right since its publication. Matthew Prior and Charles Montagu wrote a hostile pamphlet parody of Dryden's The Hind and the Panther, which was titled The Hind and the Panther, transversed to the story of the country mouse and the city mouse. Dryden faced many such ridicules and satires for this poem and his conversion from Anglican Church to Catholicism. However, Catholic King James II's reign wasn't too long and his ill effects faded. This poem was observed positively in a new light. Alexander Pope and Samuel Johnson both appreciated Dryden's The Hind and the Panther. William Hazlitt and Lord Macaulay also praised this poem. George Saintsbury also had a positive review of this poem, who said that The Hind and the Panther is the greatest poem ever written in the teeth of its subject. So this is it for today. We will continue to discuss the history of English literature. Please stay connected with the discourse. Thanks and regards.